history have written the idea that women were oppressed throughout history is an appalling theory. They haven't had a great time, though, have they?
Who has had a great time in history?
That men have had less of a...
Really? Have they? By what standard?
Well, I'm just saying if you're a woman...
How about war?
But it took longer for women to get the vote, and women belong to their husbands. It's like, aren't there some clearly obvious things that...
There are inequalities in the catastrophes that the genders are subject to. Everybody had it rough. You say, well, did men or women have it worse? It's like, well, that's a complicated question. But one of the things you can say is everybody had it pretty damn bad.
Jordan Peterson, a clinical psychologist, professor, and cultural commentator, has become renowned for his sharp intellect and no-nonsense approach to controversial topics. He tackled some of the most contentious questions posed by woke ideologies. Here's a breakdown of some of his most impactful moments, but before diving in, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you never miss stories like this. Number 1. The debate on gender inequality. When faced with the question of whether men have historically had it easier than women, Peterson didn't shy away from addressing the complexities of history.
Right, so you're saying that anyone who believes in equality, whether you call them feminists, call them whatever you want to call them, should basically give up because it ain't gonna happen.
I didn't say that women shouldn't be striving for the top or anything like that, because I don't believe that for a second.
Striving for the top, but you're going to put all those hurdles in their way, as has been in their way for centuries, and that's fine. You're saying that's fine.
No, I really
the
think
patriarchal system is just
that's
fine.
Silly. I do. I think that's silly.
Successful women, though, basically have to wear the trousers, in your view. They have to sort of become men to succeed, is what you're saying.
Certainly, masculine traits are going to be helpful. If you're going to be successful, you need to be smart, conscientious, and tough.
Well, here's a radical idea. Why don't the bosses adopt the male bosses, shall we say, adopt some female traits so that women don't have to fight and get their sharp elbows out for the pay rises? It's just accepted if they're doing the same job, they get the same pay.
The market sets the damn game. It's like...
And the market is dominated by men.
No,
so
it's not. It's not.
You...
The market is dominated by women. They make 80% of the consumer decisions. That's not the case at all.
His central message is not about who had it worse, but understanding the challenges faced by everyone in context. Freedom of speech versus offense. In one memorable exchange, Peterson was asked,
You cited freedom of speech in that. Why should your right to freedom of speech trump a trans person's right not to be offended?
What?
Rather than offering a straightforward answer, Peterson highlighted the risks inherent in meaningful conversations, noting that the pursuit of truth often requires the courage to challenge ideas.
Because in order to be able to think, you have to risk being offensive. I mean, look at the conversation we're having right now. You know, like you're certainly willing to risk offending me in the pursuit of truth. Why should you have the right to do that?
Except you haven't sat there and... I'm just trying to work that out. I mean...
Ha, gotcha.
You have got...
Peterson makes his point about the importance of intellectual freedom and the willingness to offend for the sake of thinking. The myth of equal outcomes. Peterson frequently critiques the idea of equality of outcome, arguing that natural differences in interests and choices often result in varied career paths and earnings.
I'm interested in people being able to have different choices and having equality of outcome.
What if people choose different things, which is what they've been doing in Scandinavia? What about bricklayers? They're 99% male. And men work longer hours. They work more dangerous jobs. They're more likely to move. They're more likely to work outside. They're more likely to participate in jobs in the STEM fields that are scalable. They make more money for those reasons. And that's all hidden under the idea that the reason that men and women make different amounts of money is because of their gender. It's a very simplistic analysis. And
he points out that men and women tend to pursue different fields and face unique risks and opportunities, making it impractical to aim for identical results across the board. Peterson discusses the factors that naturally lead to differences in our career outcomes and wage gaps, feminism and workplace dynamics. During a heated debate about women in male-dominated fields, Peterson addressed the assumption that success requires women to adopt traditionally masculine traits. He emphasized that competitive environments often reward assertiveness and toughness, but rejected the notion that markets are entirely dominated by men. Peterson countering claims about male dominance in workplace dynamics and consumer decisions, tackling the wage gap misconception. Peterson has often criticized simplistic views of wage disparities between men and women. By outlining factors such as hours worked, job risks, and industry choices, he dismantled the idea that the wage gap is solely the result of discrimination.
Most of the data in all of the countries, come up to that conclusion that a woman who has the same position as a man.
Women and men who do the same job, the women end up getting paid less?
Yes.
And you control for everything else? No, sorry, the data's wrong. There's at least 16 reasons why men get paid more than women. Men work longer hours. If you work 10% longer hours, you make 40% more money. Okay, men work in more dangerous positions. So there's a wage advantage for working in more dangerous positions.
You're saying that there were many different points that explain why we come up to that final statistic, but that if you look at the reasons why, then it's because men work longer, because they move more than women, and
they work in more dangerous positions, they're more likely to work outside.
I'll take you on that.
His analysis reminds us to dig deeper into the complex issues rather than resorting to one-dimensional conclusions.
If you hire 50% women engineers and 50% male engineers, then the women engineers are less qualified because the pool of engineers is lower among women. So you can't hire 50% women engineers without producing a decrement in the quality of the engineers.
Well, in Iceland, an energy company was about to go bankrupt. A new manager came in and said, okay, we've got to throw everything out and start again, and made a conscious decision based on his belief that it's a human right that men and women are paid equally. And so went out of his way to make the workforce within that company 50-50. So we're talking about engineers, we're talking about tradespeople. Yeah, and they certainly argue that they're not, then it's not tokenism and they're not hiring second-rate women.
They might argue that, but if you did it on a large scale, that's what would happen. Because look, you think about it mathematically. If there's 10 times as many male engineers as there are female engineers, and you insist upon hiring 50-50, then obviously the degree to which the female engineers are proficient cannot be the same as the degree to which the male engineers are proficient. It's mathematically impossible.
So you're saying don't even try.
Peterson explains the nuanced reasons behind wage differences and why discrimination alone doesn't tell the full story. So what do you think? Which moment stood out to you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let us know. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more videos like this.